Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and you're watching Yazz'n It Up, and I'm trying to be a little bit quieter because it is early Saturday morning. I am filming this mid-October and I wanted to show you guys my garden. Now my garden does look a little bit different from when it first started. I had tomato plants that I had to take out, which I'll talk to you guys about a little bit later, but basically I'm going to be showing you like my gardening cart that I got last Christmas, and my father also made me a elevated garden bed, so I will show you guys all of that. I'm super excited. This is the first year that I'm like technically gardening. I got it and it was like late winter and I tried planting a couple things, but most of it died. I did have a lot of herbs that flourished and did really good, so that's the only thing that I was able to do last year. But this year I was able to get a lot of tomatoes. I was able to get a couple peppers and an eggplant so far, and a bunch of carrots. So like I said, I'll be showing you guys everything that I planted and just taking you around, giving you a tour of everything that I use in our backyard, which is where I'm at right now. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so when we first walk out into our backyard, this is my little garden cart. So adorable. I got it last year for Christmas, like I was saying before. It has two little wheels down there at the bottom that I can pick it up if I really needed to. And I have all of my herbs hanging out here. So right on top on this ledge, I have this shake and feed tomato, fruit, and vegetable plant food. I actually have two of those. I have a little baby one and a big boy one. These are just little plastic pots that I use to start my plants indoors if it was a little bit early. And then I have this garden insect killer. Unfortunately, my tomatoes ended up getting aphids, which is like basically life for plants. Really nasty. They're little white tiny bugs, disgusting. So my tomatoes actually ended up getting aphids, so I needed to purchase this to get rid of them, and that's why I had to pull out my tomato plants. And because all of my tomato plants pretty much took up a good majority of the garden, I have a lot of room. So I actually pulled out this morning some plants. So I have some cauliflower, some lettuce, and some spinach that I'm going to go ahead and plant in place where those tomatoes were, so we'll be able to do that together. And right over here, this is my peppermint plant. So this year for Christmas, I'm actually thinking of giving people homemade peppermint tea, which is basically just peppermint leaves, and I'm gonna put some cocoa nibs in it, and it's gonna be chocolate peppermint tea. Hopefully that'll be delicious. And right over here, as you guys can see, this little sign, I made a lot of these little signs. I got these little things from Amazon, but because they're wood, when it rained, most of them got destroyed. But this is my basil, and right back here in this plant, I don't even know if you guys can see this little thing right here, but I have cilantro. I just planted this. Cilantro does really good in the winter. And then right over here, I have my oregano. This smells delicious. It smells like pizza. So good. So I love cutting and pruning all of my herbs, because the more you prune and the more you cut, the more they're going to grow. And I like to bless people at church, so a lot of people get some fresh herbs, and of course we use them, we dehydrate them, and we use them in our cooking. And then I have a watering can. This is my adorable watering can. My mother actually put those little stickers on it with her friend. So a little pea on one side and the carrot and the tomato on the other. So I do need to water my garden this morning, so I'm going to take this up to our water jug. All right, so moving from the cart, I grabbed the water jug and I grabbed the seeds, and we do have a couple tables back here in our backyard. And my father's grills, he has two of them, but right over here in the corner of our house is our watering jug. Okay, I think this is a better angle. Basically, water comes from our roof. So our roof is all the way on top, of course. So it drains all of the water down into this thing. And basically this is just rainwater, free water. And I just put my watering can underneath. It has a little spout here. I know the lighting is really weird because we're outside, but there's a spout here on this side and there's a spout underneath there. And I just put my watering can underneath, and this is how I water my plants. Obviously, if it hasn't rained in a really long time, there's obviously going to be no water in here, so I have to do it from inside, but I'm going to go ahead and get some water to water my plants. Alrighty, so this is my garden bed. My dad built this all by himself. I bought the wood and he used his tools and he built this. I'm so grateful that he was able to build this for me. I did not want one that was closer to the ground because I knew it was going to kill my back. So this one, I'm able just to stand up and tend to it. I don't have to kneel down or anything, so I'm super grateful. The only thing is that I can't put heavy plants in here. Like if I wanted to do potatoes, this would literally knock it down, because potatoes, as they grow, they get so much weight to them. So I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. But let me go ahead ahead and show you guys what vegetables I got going on. So here is one angle to the garden. I have that little baby fence there because it was separating my tomato plants. My tomato plants were literally taking over the garden, so I needed to put something there to kind of be like a border. But right over here I have my green onions. So as you guys can see, these are all green onions. We love green onions. Well, my dad and I love green onions. My mom, not so much a fan. I just come in and snip them and they continue to regrow. When they're starting to die back, they actually start producing a bulb underneath like a regular onion, and you can even use that. So towards the end of the season, these will have a bunch of little bulbs at the bottom that I can use as regular onions. Right over here in this kind of empty space is actually where I have my onions. You guys can actually probably see this little baby guy here. This whole section I planted onion seeds. I don't know how many actually will come through and actually produce onions, but onions take a year to grow. So I planted these when I planted everything else. So around next year, hopefully I'll have onions. We shall see. And you guys can even see the line from the soil. I fills most of the bed with soil, but every time I water or it rains, the soil just decompresses together and it's very packed in there. So what I need to do after this year is like rake it and like move all the soil around and break it up, and then I'll have to add more into it. That way I can fill the entire bed, because you can see all of this wood, and before in the beginning of my garden you could only see maybe an inch of it. So I have a lot of soil packed in this, but it also needs more soil too. So all down this row here, all of those are all carrots. And funny enough, no one in my house likes carrots. I eat baby carrots with ranch, but like carrots like this that we cook with, our family is not a fan of carrots. I just wanted to grow them because I thought it'd be fun. But like I was saying before, how the soil is so packed in, the carrots have no room to grow. So they'll be super, super tiny. And I'll actually pull a couple carrots with you guys today to show you, but these are so short. The kind of carrots that I got, they're perfect for salads, and I do cook with them every once in a while. But like I said, carrots are not our favorite. And then right over here, that yellow thing is supposed to be a cucumber. I bought a cucumber plant from Lowe's or from Home Depot, and it is not doing too hot. From the moment I planted it in here, it was just not thriving. So that thing is supposed to be a cucumber. I don't know what's happening to it. So this is a cucumber. This almost looks like a baby cucumber, but as you can see, like even the roots started coming up. Those are the roots, and then a lot of these leaves are dead. I don't know what happened to him, but he looks very sad. And that little thing over there, funny enough, we had spiders in this garden bed, so I read online that if you plant peppermint, that it'll prevent all of the spiders from coming. So I planted little itty bitty peppermints, probably just like 3 or 4 leaves, and they started growing, grew their own roots, and started producing. So now I have this little baby stalk here, which is hilarious. So now I have a few of those growing around the garden, so you'll see those throughout. There's another one right over here, one here, one here, and that was just from me putting in like 4 leaves just in the ground just to prevent spiders. It grew a whole another plant. So moving on this side, I have a couple eggplants. So I love making eggplant parmesan. It's one of our family's favorite, and this plant was the only one that let me harvest one eggplant. I planted I think like 3 or 4 seeds of eggplant, and I was only able to get 1 eggplant so far, but I actually do have a few buds. So right in here, this is an eggplant bud. Hopefully that'll come through. And then these smaller ones, these are also eggplants, except I haven't been able to get any buds from them. But can you guys see that little ladybug? She's hanging out with me today. So cute. So they're a little scrawny, they're a little sad, but hopefully that one bud will be able to give me another eggplant. And there's even another one right here. So I have 2 on this one plant that has given me my first eggplant. So we shall see how that works out. And then this guy right here, this is my pepper plant. So I did have a couple of those, except he was the only one that produced anything. This one right here in front is also technically a pepper plant, but he's so scrawny, like he's not really doing much for me. But you guys can see right here, I have a little baby pepper growing. So here's what the buds look like, and those should all be peppers. These white flowers are all going to be peppers. So I was able early on in the year to get 2 peppers. And these large stalks in the corner of my bed, these are supposed to be broccolis. So I had one more larger plant about right here, and it actually went to flower, and that just means that it had too much heat and it went to flower, so it created seeds. So basically I could have harvested all of the flowers, like the buds, and those would have been broccoli seeds, but I didn't really want that because I already bought broccoli seeds, so I just threw it away. But all of these leaves, broccoli leaves, you can also eat. They're very similar in texture to kale or collard greens, but we're not a fan of either of those, so I just always throw these away. But in the center of the plants is where you're supposed to be able to have broccoli heads come out. We haven't had any broccoli heads yet, but we're crossing our fingers because broccoli is definitely one of our favorite vegetables. So hopefully these are getting so large and they'll continue to grow. Hopefully I'll be able to harvest at least one broccoli this year. It would be amazing. And these little guys over here, these are our lettuce leaves. They do look a little worse than last time I saw, just a couple of brown leaves, but they're doing really well. So basically we bought romaine lettuce. I cut the bottom of it and I replanted it, and now I have lettuce leaves. So I can pull all of these, wash them, and we can have the smallest salad in the world. But it grew and I'm super excited. And like I showed you guys before, I have more lettuce seeds that I'm gonna go ahead and plant. And then right over here in this big empty area is where the tomato plants were. So I'm going to be putting some cauliflower, some spinach, some lettuce in this empty part here, and I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and start putting some seeds in, and then we'll pull some carrots out, and this will be the end. So let me go ahead, set you guys down, and let's plant some seeds. All right, so this soil looks very good. So I think I'm going to plant lettuce first. I usually just get my seeds from Dollar Tree, so I already opened this guy up. So what I'm gonna do is plant it over there, closer to where the other lettuce stalks were that I showed you guys. So some lettuce seeds are planted. Now let's go ahead and move into some spinach. I feel like it makes sense to put the spinach next to the lettuce. And last but not least, some cauliflower. The soil is still pretty moist. I watered it last night. Cauliflower is one of my favorites. My mother is not a fan. I feel like it tastes exactly like broccoli, but probably better than broccoli. That's just my opinion. But my mother is not a fan of cauliflower. My dad eats anything. My sister is very picky with her vegetables. Cauliflower seeds are in. I spread it out around here, so we'll see what happens. I have no idea how it's gonna work. All right, y'all, so before we water the garden, let's pull out a couple carrots because I know I said that I was going to do that. So as you can see, some of the carrots are popping out. Usually you want to wait until the carrots are at least 1 inch in diameter. Let me zoom you guys in. And these are not 1 inch in diameter yet, but they're so close together that I want to give a chance to the surrounding ones to grow. So I feel like this one's pretty big, so I'm gonna pull this guy out. And he has a lot of roots underneath him, but you guys can see he is so short because the soil is so packed in. But I'm still gonna be able to chop this up and I'll put it with the rest of the carrots. We like to keep them in the freezer, that way when we do need carrots we can just get them out of the freezer and throw them in our dishes. So that's how I learned how you're supposed to check to see if carrots are done, is literally just to dig around the carrot to see the diameter, and if it's big enough then you can pull it. So right down here I feel like I can see a couple nice sizes. This one right here, I'll go ahead and pull him. Look how adorable. They're so tiny. Let's see, this is a pretty big guy right here. Okay, I guess he wasn't that big. He was just fat and thick. We love you though. And these other ones, they're just not ready. So we do have a few friends here that we can bring inside. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and water. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. We shall see. thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed today's garden tour and pulling out some carrots and planting some new seeds. So leave a comment down below if you guys are gardeners, and if you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that red button down below. There's a little bell next to it that you can click on to get notified when I upload new videos. And if you guys aren't already following me on Instagram, that is listed down below. The things that I have harvested already, I always post them on Instagram because I get so excited. I hope you guys are having a wonderful October and have a great day.